everyone, today is Monday the 8th of December. My name is Rebecca and my channel name is Hedgerow Stitching. I'd just like to share with you what I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. A huge thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel recently, welcome, and also thank you to the people who do stick around and watch me in my little stitchy endeavours. I've got some 2 or 3 fully finished items of stitching to share with you. I've got a couple of things that if I show them today I'm going to have to finish them, which is why I'm going to show them in a minute. I've got a little bit of progress on a couple of whips that I've done. I have some knitting and I have a little bit of quilting to share. So I've also have a sampler to share with you. So let's get into it. I hope you're all well and looking forward to the oncoming festive season. Okay, so the first fully finish, I showed that I was knitting. Oh, sorry, that was one of my Christmas baubles fallen off the tree. That made me jump. I'm in the house on my own today, so that's a little bit why I jumped out of my skin then. I'll go and clear it up in a minute. Okay, so this is a Not Forgotten Farm little rabbit, and I'll put a picture in here of what the original looks like, the chart. I can't seem to find the chart somewhere, but this is what the colours that I chose. So I did a different range of colours, and then I finished it with a pretty fabric on the back. I stuffed it with walnut shells and lavender, so it smells divine. And then I just whip stitched the bottom and pop that in my little basket of tricks. So that can go in there. I'll show you that in a minute. The next fully finish was Whitaker by Stacey Nash. So I finished this chap. I started him, I did his head a couple of years ago and put him away, and never got around to stitching him, so I stitched him with the white. What I do is, well, this is actually Weeks Dye Works parchment. When I finished a stitch, I spray it with starch on the back and let it dry naturally, and it tends to plump up the stitches, so you could try that, I'm not sure. Put a little velvet ribbon on him. I backed him in this little snowflake fabric and finished him off. He looks a little bit like a fish at the bottom, but he doesn't actually stand up, but I thought it gives him a little bit more stability if you do want to put him up on a shelf or something. So he goes in my basket as well. And then I finished Lily. I've given her some beads across the bottom there. Did all the call for colours, except the fabric is different. I can't remember what the fabric is. I put a pink gingham on the back and stuffed her the same way. I actually went a little bit too far over this side with the finishing, but with the fabric, but I don't mind. It's done now. And also whip stitched the bottom. So that's Lily. And then the last one I finished was Millie the elephant. So I had already stitched her and just fully finished her. The same thing, lavender and walnut shells. And then I did a green polka dot, which is I think one of the Dutch heritage fabrics. And then put this little ribbon on, and she goes in my basket too. So I'll show you my festive basket so far. They're my fully finishes, and these are Sussex trugs that you can get from the Trudgery. I'm going to see if I can get a little small one so I can put all my little tiny stitches in there. So that's what's going on there at the moment. I did start another Not Forgotten Farm stitch, but I'm struggling with him. I've chosen my own colours, and it's a little Christmas design, and this is how far I've got, but I'll put a photograph in here of the original one. I'm not very happy with this, so I might restart it. His beard looks a bit grey. So that's one thing. And then I started Stacey Nash Jack, and I'm doing this on a piece of 40 count Cedar River, and this is how far I've got. So it shouldn't take me long just to finish that little bit there and then fully finish it, and it can go in my basket too. And down on the bottom here I stitched Whitaker's little Christmas tree or plant. So I've got to get a circle, which I tend to use my pin cushion as my circle. So I use that as my template, and then I will be able to do that and put that together. So those are the few things I've been stitching on. I also pulled out my Dorcas Haynes by Scarlet Letter. Everybody's stitching this. I'm doing the silks, and it's the silk from the actual chart. It's not a different silk conversion, it's just the one that's the original, which I like. The lovely colours there. I had done the alphabet, but what I did do is just put in this flower here to see what the colours look like, and I will pick this up later this week and work some more on it. The girls in my Stitchy chat group, they're also working on Dorcas Haynes. So that's that one. I picked up a really old whip the other day because somebody in the comments of my last video asked me what this pattern was that I shared, and honestly I can't remember the date I started this, but it is a Courtney collection and it's called Nightmare. This chart is still available, but only from 1 or 2 places on the internet. If you are looking for it, I can give you the link, or I can list the link down below. It's a very moody chart. I'm doing mine on a piece of 40 count Picture This Plus Murky, and I'm using Classic Colourworks Blackbird, and I have quite a bit of Blackbird. Now, some of them are different dye lots. This one is more brown than this one, which is more black. So what I'm having to do is pick one thread from one piece and then another thread from another skein, so I can not have it so blocky. And this is how far I've got. So I'm starting at the top here and going along. So not very far, but this is one of my really old whips. I'd like to do a little bit of this each time and see if I can get a bit further on that whip. What else have I been up to? So I wanted to make myself a woolen needle book, and I found a piece of Blackberry Primitives wool, and I cut out my own design for a pair and then a smaller pair in the middle, and I'm using my Valdani threads because I thought I hadn't used them for a long time, and I'm just going to whip stitch around or blanket stitch around the shapes, and then inside I'm going to put a little piece of felt to put my needles in. So that will be finished the next time I see you. So that's a lovely piece of wool applique. So next, let me show you a sampler in my collection that's very old. It's quite moth-eaten. It's not very colourful, but you'll be surprised at the colours that I've picked out from the reverse of the sampler. I've had it in my collection for a few years and never really took the back off because it's so delicate. I've managed to find some archival envelopes that keep the sampler's safe, and also when you're reproducing you tend to turn this sampler over quite a bit, and I don't want to damage it at all. So this is Anne Hall, and she stitched her sampler in, I think, 1784. So this was Anne Hall, born September, and then the year is scrubbed out here, but she's got a date of the 17th, 1784, aged 13 years. So I have traced Anne back to, taken 13 years off 1784 and had a look at the girls that were born in that time period, and found two. One was in Great Yarmouth in Norfolk, and the other girl, Anne Hall, was born in Howden in Yorkshire. So I have been looking under the milltrust.org, or Mill Archive, I think it is, Mill Archive Trust, and to see if I can find if this mill is still standing. It's very unusual because it has lots and lots of windows up here. I think there's about 12 windows. It has some safety railings around here. It has foresails. She's got lots of little trees here and some little birds. And I'll read you the saying. It says, let me get my glasses on. It says, "He rises each morn to work and to sing. So happy is the miller as would be a king." And then it says, "Fear God and honour the king." That would be King George III. And then, "When snow descends and robes the fields in winter's bright array, touched by the sun's lustre, fades and weeps itself away." Quite a sweet saying. So this is my Anne Hall. She looks very dark. On the reverse, similar colours, but what I have done is picked out the best of I can the colours on the back, and these are the colours that so far that have come out. So some nice dark colours, some nice pink and a pale blue. I've no plans to reproduce her in the near future, but one day I will reproduce her. Only because this windmill is so unusual. You usually see little windmills, but you don't often see, well, I don't think I have seen a windmill that takes most of the sampler. If you at all have seen a sampler like this, or know a book with a photograph of a sampler in, I'd really like to hear from you. Anne Hall. Okay, moving on to a little bit of, oh no, I've got one more thing to share. I was stitching a house, a Georgian house, the last time I showed you, and I was going to make it into a sewing bag. I've actually finished the house and the satin stitch. So this is the finish. I finished off the grass here, the satin stitch, and this is the shape of the sewing bag that I'm going to make it into. I just haven't got round to it so far. This is going to be where the cording goes. It's going to be fully lined. This is the lining fabric. And the back, because I didn't have enough of the linen to make the reverse, I'm going to use this polka-dot fabric, which is Dutch Heritage. You can't really see, but it's a similar colour to the linen, and that will be my sewing bag with a lovely design on it. This is taken from one of my samplers that is in my collection, Anne Swatridge, I think, who was from Dorset. It's quite a busy sampler, so this is the only piece that I've reproduced at the moment. It's in 103 silk, and this is on 40 count. 40 count Cedar River. I started a little while ago a tumbler doll quilt, and the template I'm using is this one here. And this one is by Marty Michelle. That's the template. It comes with a booklet like this. And I'm doing mine in reds and whites. and this is how far I've got so far. So I'm not quite sure which is the top. I think this is the top. This is the top. And what I've done, what I'm going to do next is a row of tumblers all around the border, and then another dividing line of fabric, and then I will be finished. So that's just a little doll quilts to add to my collection. I saw a similar one on Instagram, and I always love to see the doll quilt swap exchange ones on Instagram, and they're lovely, the ones that people do. So that's my little doll quilt. What else have I got to share? Oh yes, a little while ago I loved to collect antique sewing notions and things, and I managed to pick up, I think I've got about 6 pieces of these really gorgeous delicate Edwardian scissors. And this is the first one. They still work, and this is another pair. Sorry, I'll just show that like that. They still work. All of them are really very sharp. Obviously they're not your Kohanas, but they are just a lovely thing to have in your collection for your stitching, or just to show off. So these are all Edwardian scissors. I'm keeping a few pairs for myself, but I thought people might like to have a pair of antique scissors in their collection, so I will be putting a couple of these sets up on my website, so hedgerowstitching.com. There are a few pieces of these pairs of these scissors available if you would like a pair of antique sewing scissors. I just thought I'd share that with you. Moving on to my knitting, I started this lovely shawl, and I'm using Jameson Smith jumper weight wool in the shade 2004, which is the lovely chocolate colour. And with these shawls you knit the square first in the centre, which is what I have done, and it's come up beautifully. Just knit stitch, and then you pick up hundreds and hundreds of stitches around the edge, and then you knit the fan part of the shawl. So I have knit the shawl. Doesn't look very much, looks like a baby carrier at the moment, and then I'll be picking up all the stitches. Ooh. So that's what's on my needles for myself. And then I've nearly finished my son's sweater, which is this pattern here, which is a King Cole pattern. This sweater here, just a plain round neck, ribbed edge, and plain. And I'll put a photograph in here of my sheep that I used to keep. I don't have them anymore. I was big into sheep a long time ago, and I kept all the wool from them. This is the lovely Zorbal's wool, and I've done the back and the front and one sleeve, and I'm on the second sleeve now, and hopefully it'll be finished before he comes back from university. Anyway, this is you can't really see, but it's the back. It's very large because he's a big lad. But this is a beautiful natural yarn. The sheep look black in the photograph, but their wool comes out as like a dark brown colour. He does have a knitted vest that I've made him, and he wears it to death, so I know that he will love to wear this sweater as well. And I'll just go and get the next project that I'm knitting, or going to knit for my daughter. So the next project I'm making is a sweater for my daughter, and it's a petite knit sweater and called the Frankie sweater, and this is a photograph of the pattern. And it's a stripy 100% wool sweater, and the colours she's chosen, it comes in 2 colourways, but obviously you can choose any colour to knit them with, and it uses Peer Gynt 100% wool. I've not used this wool before, but I'm sure it will be absolutely gorgeous. And it's a lovely blue, and then it has a dark brown, chocolate brown stripe. So 4 stripes of the blue, 2 stripes of the chocolate brown, and that will be for her. Hopefully I can get it done before she comes back from university as well. So I've got a lot of knitting to do in my next few weeks, well, a couple of weeks. I don't think there's anything else I want to share with you at the moment, but I just want to wish everybody a very happy holidays and have a safe time with all your family and friends, and I look forward to seeing you very much in the new year. Thank you everybody, and enjoy your holidays. Bye bye.